the world population keeps increasing. The current population has exceeded 7 billion people and is expected to grow to 7.5 to 10.5 billion by 2050. With all these mouths to feed, we need to ensure an adequate food supply for this booming population. It was a major challenge, but we have found a way to help. It started in the 1980s when scientists discovered pieces of DNA that can be transferred between organisms. In 1983, the first genetically modified plant was created by using an antibiotic-resistant tobacco plant. 11 years later, the first plant that was genetically modified for human consumption was created. It was a tomato, and the modification allowed the tomato to delay ripening after it was picked. A herbicide immune soybean was introduced in 1995 by the biotech company Monsanto. Why can't we just grow more food instead of modifying their DNA? Some crops, like tomatoes, will die due to a drop in temperatures. This drop can kill half the crop, and the farmer could lose thousands of dollars. Scientists have found a way to transfer genes from a flounderfish that is able to live in cold climates to tomatoes. This gene allows tomatoes to withstand the frost. Scientists can add all types of genes to give plants different types of characteristics that let them survive different conditions. Farmers save tons of money because the plants don't die from pests, herbicides, and other chemicals or animals. Genetically modified foods have proven to be very useful for the world. Crops that aren't genetically modified have to deal with pests. The way to deal with pests is to spray the crops with pesticides and herbicides. Farmers have to spray their crops many times to deal with them. Not everyone wants to eat food that has been sprayed with pests due to the health hazards. Also, runoff from fertilizers and pesticides have been known to run into waters and harm the environment. Growing genetically modified foods, such as Bt corn, can help decrease the application of chemical pesticides and reduce the cost of bringing a crop to market. As the world population grows, more land is utilized for housing instead of food production. Genetic modification allows farmers to grow plants that can withstand long periods of drought or high salt content in soil and groundwater. This helps people grow plants in areas that were previously considered inhospitable. There are thousands of viruses, fungi, and bacteria that can cause diseases in plants. Biologists are working to create plants with genetically engineered resistance to these diseases. There are many reasons why genetically modified foods are good for farmers and consumers. Some people don't believe that we should produce genetically modified foods. Why, you may ask? People question the safety of these foods, and some even believe that they lead to cancer, strokes, and other health risks. Also, some of the genetically modified crops have been known to spread into non-genetically modified crops. These people don't seem to know how much genetically modified foods are helping people everywhere. It may cost more money to genetically modified foods, but in the long run, it's cheaper. If genetically modified foods weren't made, then the cost of food would double. Farmers have saved thousands of dollars because they spend less money on pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, and crops that go bad due to the weather. Genetic modification has already come so far and has provided tons of food for people all around the world. Scientists have been working on creating medicine in food, such as bananas that produce human vaccines against infectious diseases such as hepatitis B. They have also been trying to create fish that is metabolically engineered to mature more quickly. Also, fruit and nut trees that yield years earlier, and food no longer containing properties that are associated with common intolerances. These foods are still being tested and will hopefully be out in the public in the near future. Even though they taste and look the same, not everybody approves of genetically modifying foods, but it has helped feed people in countries all around the world. We have had genetically modified foods in stores for over 10 years, and now there are millions of crops everywhere just for them. This is one of the ways that we can ensure that we have a future with lots of full stomachs.